So my name is Rory Fraser Mackenzie. I am ETC's market manager for Europe. I cover the territories of ETC's European offices. So that is Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Russia, and the CIS states, as well as India. And I will be here basically as a host and to help ask you questions today. And I'll now hand over to Graham Parker to tell us who he is and to take it from there.
Thanks, Rory. So I'll just share this presentation with you guys. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself fully, did I? Graham Parker, the events and training specialist for ETC Limited here in London. So today we're going to talk about Setlight, which is an app, and it's for configuration of ETC fixtures and some various other devices. Obviously, we will be developing this app further as time goes on, so we do have some more plans for it, but initially in conjunction with the Series 3 fixtures, the Desire Fresnel and the Phosphor fixtures, which we've launched over the last year as well. So let's just run through a few of these slides here, and we'll just take a look at what the app is all about. So as I say, it's for configuring ETC fixtures and some of the devices. It's available on the Apple App Store and on Google Play as well, so Apple and Android versions available there. It's a technician's tool really to configure and troubleshoot your fixtures at the moment. So as I say, we have lots of new ideas of what we're going to do with this down the line, but right now we're going to look at configuring some fixtures with it. So there's a few different ways which you can configure those fixtures. So we'll just take a look through those. So there's 3 different ways that we can connect to a fixture to make those configurations. Firstly, via NFC, so that's near field communication. We'll take a look at that in a moment. If you joined us for the multiverse session a little while ago with Tom, then you'll have seen that there are ways to connect via Bluetooth to the multiverse transmitter, and that's what we'll be connecting to with my phone in a moment, and allowing us to talk over the wireless connection there. With our multiverse transmitter, and then obviously in the city theatrical world that we're in with multiverse and so on, we can actually also Bluetooth connect to the city theatrical DMX Cat as well with our Setlight app and get into our fixtures that way. So there's a few different options there. We'll just look through a couple of slides as to what they are, and then I'll get onto the fixtures and show you how it actually works. So NFC, or near field communication, if you're not aware of what that is, if you've been and paid for something with your phone, that is near field communication. So Apple Pay and such like use that technology. So it's just a case of tapping onto the device, and that's the technology that we're using in here. So you'll see on the back of many of our fixtures now, there's a little black square which says NFC in the middle of it. So that's what you're going to use there. And some of the functions that you can use here with NFC are to allow you to set one address to multiple fixtures, change presets on the fixtures, so the inbuilt presets within the fixtures, and allow you to play those back, reset to factory defaults and so on. So this is going to be a great tool for anyone who's prepping fixtures. So maybe in a rental shop, you're coming along and you just want to set all your fixtures to the same settings so that you can come in there and just run tests on them as you prep them before they go out. Again, if you're doing this in a theatre, you can rig a bar and then you can set all of your configuration settings on your app, tap it, move on to the next fixture, tap it and move on to the next fixture. It will allow you to save settings within the app, so you could actually configure all of the fixtures for the whole bar within your app before you start, and then just walk along the bar tapping the settings into each individual fixture. So that's the NFC, and we'll go through that in a moment and show you how that works. The next method of connecting is, as I said, via the multiverse transmitter. So again, Bluetooth from your device, from your phone, and then you can connect via Bluetooth to the multiverse transmitter, and you'll be able to pull in the configuration for all the devices there. So effectively, you're in the wireless RDM world there as well with the multiverse transmitter. So any devices that are seen by the multiverse transmitter will pull themselves into the configuration set up on your phone in the Setlight app. And then the third method of connection there would be via the DMX Cat from City Theatrical as well. So a little like they have their DMX Cat app, we also can use our Setlight app in conjunction with their DMX Cat tool. So if you just have one of those as a technician and you want to stick it into a fixture, then you can come into Setlight and change configurations in there as well. So I don't imagine there's too many questions yet, but I just wanted to run through those slides quickly, and then we can get on to looking at some things on some hardware.
There are no questions. Oh, no, we do. Can the app do automatic sequential addressing? I'm going to say, Pete, we're going to hold on to that until we come to that in a minute or two.
Yes, it can is the answer, but I will show you that shortly in just a moment. Okay, so the first thing to look at, I think, is NFC. So bear with me whilst I just switch my video here a little bit. So I'm going to show on my phone here into the Setlight app. So hopefully you can see on my screen there. I've opened up the app on my phone. I'm just going to do a little picture-in-picture here with the fixture that I've got alongside me. And I'll just walk around the back there. So this is purely NFC right now that I'm going to work in. We'll come on to the multiverse transmitter in a moment. So you'll see on the bottom of the fixture there, if I just tilt that down a little bit, the NFC tag is down here. And that's the same on the Desire Fresnel and all of the phosphor units as well. You'll see that NFC tag in there. So up in the top left, you have two little icons on the app there. The one on the left-hand side is to connect to your devices, such as your multiverse transmitter or your DMX cap. And then the one just to the right of that is the NFC tag there. So if I tap on that, I've got a few options there. Set address, set preset, pull configuration, reset configuration. So one thing I might do first to come along to my fixture is press pull configuration. It tells me it's ready to scan. I just tap my phone on there and I see success. And it's pulled in the configuration of the fixture there. And you can see that on screen. No fixture type is its label. It's start address, mode, etc. in there. So having pulled the configuration from a fixture, I might just go in there, change its address to 201, maybe change its mode into expanded. And there's a few other options I can change here, the multiverse settings and so on, and the UI timeout and things like that. I'll just tap on push now, tap it back on the NFC tag, and those configuration changes are made in there. I'll just pull that back down onto camera so that you can see. It says NFC received. You just saw that pop away, the little yellow line at the bottom of the screen. And hopefully you can see there, it's now saying address 201, expanded mode, all of those changes that I made within there. So that was a really quick way just to pull the configuration out, make some changes and send it back again. The other option I had in there, of course, was reset configuration. So this may be really useful for those rental companies out there. If I just tap on reset configuration, ready to scan, tap it on there, and it says success. It should in a moment say NFC received. Its DMX address is defaulted back to 0. Its default mode, which is 3-channel RGB. And you'll also notice in here that that's reset my multiverse settings back to their defaults as well. So multiverse is actually turned off there on that fixture. I'm just going to turn that back on again. And set it back to an address that I'm going to use in a little while. So reset to defaults is very quick and easy there. And the great thing about this as well, I suppose, if we're talking about the current COVID situation, is that you're just working with your device here and going forward in the future as well now. You don't have to touch that fixture at all. So one bonus of this technology, I suppose, in this COVID world at the moment, is that you can use it in that way. So that's one of my options with NFC there. If I pop back in there again, you'll see we have set address. So I can go in there and then come in and say, I'd like to set my address on this fixture now to 101. And what we're looking at here is setting sequential addresses, as you asked in the question. So I can say this is the footprint of a 3-channel RGB fixture. And my addressing is going to have an offset of 10, for example. And then I can push that configuration into a fixture. Just tap that on there again. And success. That's gone into my first fixture and it says NFC received. You'll notice now the next address on my app is saying start address 111. So that's offset by 10. And if I hit push now and go to another fixture, then it will just push into that next fixture with the sequential offset. So you saw there's a few different options. Same address. So if we want to go along prepping fixtures with the same address, then we can just pop in there and do that with them. And we've got sequential offset, specific gap, and rounded up addressing on those as well. So there's quite a few different options in there for that.
Graham, does the fixture have to be powered to use NFC?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Rory. Let me unplug the fixture. I'm assuming all of these fixtures are in a flight case and you want to just go along and address them all. No, it does not need to be powered. So what I might do here, again, I'll make a change to what we currently have in this fixture. I'll just tap on here, pull configuration and tap there, and it's pulled in my configuration. So it's just using the power actually from the transaction between the phone and the fixture, just to pull and send that data. So I'll change its address back to, let's make it 4, and pop it into a different mode. Let's go into direct mode now. Push that back to the fixture. And success. So obviously we don't see right now what's happened, but if I power up this fixture again, at the moment it powers up, you'll see it actually says NFC received on the back of the fixture again, and we're at DMX address 4 and in direct mode. So that is an excellent feature that allows you to do all of that when you don't have any power to your rig, or when you don't yet have the option to get cables in there if they're in cases and so on. So you can do that there very quickly and easily. So it's a great technician tool and a great prep tool in that respect.
It's also very useful for when you can't easily get to the back of the fixture. So if you've rigged that fixture up against a wall or somewhere where you can't get behind it, or you're standing on top of a ladder or an access platform and you can't get behind it, you can reach up with your cell phone, tap it, pull the config out, make your changes, push it back into the fixture. So yeah, really, really useful as an everyday technician tool.
So that's the NFC features. We can take a look more at those if you have any more questions. I've got some more fixtures behind me, which we can run along and tap into. But I think the set address and so on is really cool. Let's have a look at setting up a fixture in advance now on my phone before we go into any of the other stuff. So let's just show you that again there. So I can hit the plus button down at the bottom there, and I can add a fixture in here. So I'm going to add in my Phos4 FL7. So behind me I have some Phos4 Fresnels. Let's call this Bob. Bob. That's his fixture name, so that will appear over RDM at a later date as well. And I'm going to put him into expanded mode and give him a start address of 101. And create a fixture at this point. If I want to create multiple fixtures, then I can also come in here and say I'd like maybe 3 devices with offset addressing again, as we did before. And that's going to be offset by 10 again. Let's make that a little longer. So 11 is what I need for that expanded mode. Let's offset them by 100. And I can also create a group at this stage here. So if I know those 3 fixtures are in a group that I might want to talk to as a group later, then I can do so there. And then you'll see what happens when we come back here. You can go into the labeling once you've got a group. And then you can say, I'd like these to be labeled Bob 1, 2, and 3, for example. And then come back there. Oops. Didn't actually save that. There we go. Let's go back to one fixture. So you do need to add a device label in here as you go along and create that. And it'll pop in here. You can then select that fixture, tap and hold on it, configure, or tap on push configuration. So tap on the NFC icon at the top, push configuration, and then I'll just go into here, come over to my fixture and push configuration and drop it into that fixture. If I want to put the same configuration into a different fixture, then of course I can do so. And I can just say again, push configuration and tap on this fixture. So I may have some setups in my phone there already that I'm going to use on multiple fixtures. Again, if I'm prepping fixtures all the time and I'm sending them out in specific modes, then I may have predefined fixtures there, which I can send out a little at a time, depending on how I want that set up. So very easy to save those. And as you can see, there you've got the add group option in there as well. So I can just continue to add fixtures, another FL7 with a different start address. And create that. I can select them both at once. I can add group and create my group there. So if there's any questions about the NFC specifically there, we can look at that.
Yeah, we had one question in that I've answered in writing, but I'll say it out loud as well for the recording. of can you get the configuration from the device before you send the new one? Yes, you can. So that's what Graham has been doing with pulling the config. So you can just set up a new configuration and overwrite what's in the fixture, or you can query what's in that fixture by going, show me what's in the fixture, pull it out, make the changes you want to do, and then push it back into it. So both options are available there. And then another question, which is a kind of slightly wider question of, is there a possibility to configure a console via NFC of the future, like network settings or something similar? I think the answer is yes, there is a possibility. I think there's definitely potential for things like configuring gateways, power controllers, things like that. I think the way I see NFC is it gives you a more user-friendly user interface than some hardware products do. So I think that most often, with an EOS console, you would hope it has a good enough UI that you are able to make the changes that you want nice and easily, as easily as you can in your smartphone. Perhaps maybe on the smaller consoles like a ColorSource console where the UI is limited, having the ability to kind of push stuff is an interesting idea. But yeah, it's certainly something that we're looking at now. We are on the NFC bandwagon.
Cool. So I'll just switch you back over here again so you can see the app. And I'm just going to delete some of these devices that I've got in here. I might select the group, tap and hold it, and I can delete the group, or I can hold and delete all the devices as well. So these are just effectively my offline devices, which I'm deleting out of there. I don't need them anymore. So they're gone. So I'm back to normal with my app now. So let's move on. Once we've done the NFC there, let's move on and take a look at connection via Bluetooth to the multiverse transmitter. So I've just tapped on the top left-hand icon there, which is my connections. And I can see here that I've got a multiverse transmitter on the table in front of me there. I'm just going to tap on there and connect to it. And if I go into it, I can see that it's a multiverse transmitter, how many devices are connected. And let's just close that. It's actually found a few more now. So it's obviously got one of my fixtures there that I configured already. So these are all the devices connected to that multiverse transmitter. I have the option to select all. I have my groups in here as well. So I can, of course, create groups if I want to at that point. And then come in and configure them. So if I just switch back to this wide shot here, I'll grab one of those fixtures. I'm just grabbing Bob, which I created earlier. I can tap and hold on him and click identify, and he's flashing away there. So again, I just clicked and held there, tap the identify button, tap it again, and that stops identifying and stops the fixture flashing. So in normal RDM world, here we are with a bunch of fixtures that we've discovered over RDM, and we're just configuring them from the phone here. And again, I can select multiple fixtures in there and tap and hold on there and identify them all. And you'll see they'll all be flickering in the background there. And then when they're on the line, online, you just tap on and push and hold again, configure, and then you have options in here to configure those fixtures directly from there when they're online. You'll see in the top of the screen here, there's a little triangle with an exclamation mark in it. That's your warning sign. It's letting you know there's some issues in here. So there's no issues with labels, but I do have some overlapping addresses here, and that's going to let me know which fixtures have the same address currently. So that lets me know, much like RDM does on an EOS console, for example, that there are some issues in there that you may want to resolve by dealing with that. Same situation there as I could add fixtures in here from my library and send those out at that point there. So anything RDM that we currently support, so most of our high-end fixtures now are later high-end fixtures, and almost all of our ETC fixtures now, or LED fixtures, are all RDM capable. So if they are somehow on the network with your multiverse transmitter, then you should be able to find them in here. We are basically relying on RDM from this point onwards, and then a Bluetooth connection back to your phone. So any ETC RDM fixtures can be configured in this way as well via the wireless network. So any questions about multiverse connection?
Not coming now. So
it's coming now.
I will
Okay.
vamp slightly. Oh, no, there we go. Which is a slightly wider question, rather than directly related to multiverse. Is the app able to create reports and or paperwork? I, Kelly, at the moment, the answer is not now. We have lots of really exciting plans for where this app could go. We're really interested in receiving those plans, so sort of ideas as people start using it. But at the moment, it is a configuration tool. That's not to say that it won't grow over the coming years as we add more features to it. But at the moment, it won't export you nice paperworks.
It's worth taking a look here. So I've just gone into the three lines here in the top right-hand corner. So there's a few options in there and different layouts here. So you can have tiled or table layout view of all of your fixtures in there. But down here as well, you've got a little link to the Setlight forum. So we do have an active forum in amongst all of our other forums at the moment for Setlight. And I believe this version of the app currently that I'm using right now is in beta. So this is a beta version, which we can set people up with as well. So yeah, we are actively adding to this app all the time at the moment. As Rory said, things to come further down the line. So just something else, the third sort of method of connection here, which we mentioned, was the City Theatrical DMX Cat, which I know a lot of people own already right now. So this may be a useful way to connect. Again, if I just turn this on, I'll show you my screen again. You'll see here in my connections that I can now see a DMX Cat. So I'll connect to that guy. And I'm actually going to go and plug this into the back of this fixture. Hopefully, that should give us a device shortly.
While Graham is getting that connected, I'll just confirm that while Graham is running a beta version of the app at the moment, we are expecting them to fully release through the app stores later this week. They're just going through that final approvals process. If it hasn't already appeared, it was kind of timed to coincide with the addition of Series 3 and Desire for an L. That's kind of one of the main additions coming into this. So you should be seeing that coming through the App Store very soon.
Great, so it just took a moment to connect there, but you can see the DMX Cat is connected, and here's the device that was connected to it. And again, then obviously I can go in there, identify, as I would normally, we'll see that flashing, and pop in there and change the configuration. So there are three different methods to connect, just to go back over that again. So we've got the NFC tag, which we can do powered or unpowered on the fixture. And we've got connecting via a multiverse transmitter. So if you were watching the multiverse session earlier, you'll note that we talked about the transmitter and the node. So the multiverse transmitter has Bluetooth built in, which allows us to connect via that. The multiverse node does not. However, that does allow you RDM connection down the DMX line. And then the third method, obviously, is the DMX Cat there, which I just plugged into the line. So again, great sort of technician tool. Pop your DMX Cat in there and configure. So this is, as I mentioned at the beginning, a configuration tool right now. Who knows, down the line, maybe you'll get some control in here as well. But currently, this is for configuring your fixtures nice and quickly. So I think
we've just had someone add into the comments, thanks Leah, that the app is now currently available from Google Play. I can't confirm whether it's the latest version is in the iTunes store, but if it is not, it will be there within minutes. Oh, I'm getting typing bubbles from one of our developers who's probably screaming. It's not yet. It's going through Apple's approval process, so it will be out shortly. They passed it this morning. It will pop up in the store probably later today. Thanks, Sam. Is there a function to turn the fixture on when focusing it?
There is a function on the fixture to allow you to do that. And again, if Sam's in the chat, I'm sure he'll reply in a second. I don't believe you can do that from the app directly right now. But you certainly do have a function on the fixture to do that.
You can play a preset from the app. I've just had a comment come through. But yeah, it's typically not an RDM function, so it's not available when you're connected via the RDM stuff. but an interesting idea.
So under the NFC tag there, you've got a set preset option. So I'll just play back preset 6 and tap it on a fixture. And that should run its internal preset 6, assuming there's one sat in there, which may be, yeah, it's not actually playing it. I think maybe preset 6 is not recorded, but I have seen on the back of the fixture here that it's changed into its preset mode on the fixture. So it received that instruction.
So the apps are both available from Google Play or the App Store. The easiest way to get the direct links is to go to etcconnect.com/apps, APPS. That links to all of the apps from our app team, and Setlight is under the lighting fixtures tab. I will put that direct link into the lighting fixtures bit into the chat. But yeah, it is worth checking out some of our other apps there. If you don't know about it already, the ETC Photometrics app is also incredibly useful for getting all sorts of data on our fixtures, photometrics as well as physical data as well. If you use any of our fixtures for cyc lighting, the cyc tool in there is great. We could probably fill another half hour talking about some of the other apps that we do. But yeah, so check out the apps page and explore a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a great plug for those. The Photometrics app is something I often forget about myself, despite working for the company, but it does have some really cool stuff in there. Particularly if you're using some of our LED fixtures on other consoles, there are options in there to mix colors by DMX values as well. So it's well worth taking a look at that.
Is it possible to create a preset from within the app?
Right now, I believe the answer to that is no. We're just triggering presets currently, as it's not a control app right now. It's a configuration app. But again, down the line, who knows?
I have had the ominous
developer answer.
two-word response from our developer that's on the call, which just says "not yet." But yeah, it may come later as another feature. So at the moment, that preset tool will allow you to push a preset, and then when the fixture turns on, it will load into that preset. So it's a good way if you are putting fixtures out, but not necessarily having a controller. You can very quickly push those configs, power them up, and now you have all of those presets running when you turn it on. Excellent. Well, we will stay in the call for a little bit longer in case there are any more questions. Otherwise, thank you very much for attending this session on Setlight. Again, if you haven't already caught up on all of the videos from yesterday, you can go to etcconnect.com/etc launch to watch that Series 3 and Desire Fresnel launch event. The keynote presentation from Broadway lighting designer Justin Townsend, which is nice and short and really worth a watch, as well as signing up for the next session that we're running in London, which is the EOS Color Tools session, which kind of takes a bit more of an explore around the color tools provided in the EOS platform for controlling multi-emitter fixtures like Series 3 and Desire Fresnel. Working together with those fixtures on our controls gives you the best color control in the industry. We are well known for our color control, and kind of pairing those two together gives you everything that we can throw at it. Otherwise, again, thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.